Good morning to all. Myself, Professor Nidhi Joshi. I am discussing about the subject image processing and computer vision. In this subject, I am talking about the unit. The name of the unit is a knowledge-based vision. So, my agenda for today's session is to discuss what is shape correspondence, what are approaches that we are going for the shape correspondence, what is shape matching, and last but not the least is the principal component analysis. So, to start with this, let us see what is a shape correspondence. Like, to understand this, what is the shape correspondence, let us consider one example. Like the two handwritten digits are there. Like so, if we are talking in terms of the pixel comparison, this two digits, like this two handwritten digits that are quite different. But if I'm talking about the human observer, the shapes appears to be similar. So we have seen the two handwritten digits in this example. This is the handwritten digits. So regarding if we are talking about the pixel brightness values and compared using the L2 norms, they are different. So however, regarded as the shapes, they appear rather similar to the human observer. So we are discussing like the shape is somewhat similar. If the human is going to observe this two handwritten digits, so they are similar. So the main objective for us, like we have to solve this correspondence problems between the two shapes, that are these two digits that are looking somewhat similar only. We have to solve the correspondence problem between the two shapes, use the correspondence to estimate an aligning transform, and lastly we have to compute the distance between the two shapes as the sum of the matching error between the corresponding points. So together that will be forming measuring the magnitude of the aligning transformer. So the problem for us is like we have to solve this correspondence problem. Like this two digits that seems to be different, but some correspondence, some like similarity, similarity is in between this two digit. So we have to solve this correspondence problem between the two shapes. So and use this correspondence to estimate and what is the aligning transform, and we have to compute the shape between the two shapes as sum of the matching errors, like how much error is there, that also we needs to compute. So the approaches that we are going to use is, first one is a feature based method, second one is the brightness based method. So to start with the feature based method, like we are talking about if we are talking about the feature, so we are talking about the shape similarity has been done using the boundary of the silhouette images. So that means that the silhouette image, they are not having any holes or internal marking. So if we are talking about the feature, like we are talking about the intensity, shapes, and all those things we are talking about. So here we have considered the two fish. So if I am talking about the feature, like what we are considering, we are taking the eyes, that is the tip of the this fins, we can consider. So on that basis of the feature, we are comparing, we are checking the images, and try to identify it, like whether both the objects are same or not. Next one is the brightness based method. The brightness or the appearance method offers a complementary view to the feature based method. Instead of focusing on the shape of the occluding contour or other extracted feature, these approaches make direct use of the gray value within the visible portion of the object. Like the brightness, here in the brightness we are talking about the intensity value, the gray value of the object. So we are checking, seeing the shape of the like what is the exact shape, like the contours of the other extracted feature. So one can use the brightness information in one of the two frame. So the shape based recognition, the human can recognize many objects based on the shape alone. So we have considered here several example, like if I am talking about this first object, like that is if I am talking about the shape only, that is representing some glass. Talking about the second, that is representing some bird or duck kind of thing. If I am talking about this, maybe representing the camel. This is representing some peanut, or like the edible objects, like the fruit, or we can say like it's representing the peanut. This is the shape of the fish, and this is the rabbit. So human can recognize many objects based on the shape alone. The fundamental, like for many object, like it's like the category, we can say like this is belongs to this particularly object, the glass object. This belongs to the duck family, or like the bird family. This belongs to the camel family. Like we can make categorize into the different object invariance to the photometric variation. So again we have considered this 2 pixels. So we are talking about the with respects to the shape versus the intensity value. So similar to a human in terms of the shape, but very different in terms of the pixel value. Like if we are seeing like both these things, they look somewhat similar only, but they are different. So if we are doing the comparison like in terms of the shape and the intensity values, so it is like this both these images, they are similar. If we are talking from the perspective of the human, they are similar to human in terms of shape, but very different in terms of the pixel value. If we are looking into a deeper from the deeper point of view, if we are talking about the pixel, they are different. So next, if you are talking about the shape based recognition application, like basically they are useful for the shape retrieval, so that we can easily identify the object, as well as it will be helpful for recognizing the object categories to which object it is belonging, fingerprint identification, optical character recognition like the OCR. Basically this OCR that we are going to use for so many competitive exam, as well as the shape based recognition we are going to use for the molecular biology. So here again we have considered this example, the shape based recognition. We can say that that belongs to the bird family. Some is object here we have seen one letter is written, that is representing some western, WESTERN. So here also some number is written, it is 1909. So that is the shape based recognition. These are the some applications for shape retrieval, object categorization, fingerprint identification, OCR, and the molecular biology, so that we can study the different type of the cell pattern. Next is the geometric transformation. So often in matching images are allowed to undergo some geometric transformation. Related but not identical shape can be deformed into alignment using the simple coordinate transformation. So here we have considered an image. This image basically it is representing some fish. So what we have done, like we have tried to we have here we have considered this x and y axis, and we have considered the geometric this x and y axis value, and we are checking like whether they both these shapes are same or not. So like they are often used for matching image to undergo some geometric transformation. Related but not identical shape can be deformed into alignment using single coordinate transformation. Find the transformation of one image that produce good match to another image. So next we are having for the biological shape. So here we have considered the human skull, that is a like different skulls we have taken into consideration, and that thing we are comparing, that is useful for studying the different type of the biological shape. so that we can make the comparison, the comparison, the different feature of the different mammals. So here we have considered the three different skull: human, the skull of the chimpanzee, and the skull of baboon. So the shape based recognition, like if we are talking about the related problem, the shape representation and decomposition, finding a set of the correspondence between the shape, transforming one shape into another, measuring the similarities between the shape localization and the model alignment, for finding a shape similar to a model in the cluttered image. So these are problems that we are basically focusing. This problems or this objective is there for the shape based recognition. So next we are having the principal component analysis. The principal component analysis is powerful and widely used linear techniques that is we are going to use for the statistics, signal processing, image processing, and the computer vision. So it is having the different names, like it is also called the discrete, that is Carnoon, that is after the name of the scientist, that is the Carey, Carhoon and Michaels, or like it is also known as the principal component analysis, is also known as the Hotelling transform. But most commonly we are using the term that is the principal component analysis. So principal component analysis is a method for simplifying a multidimensional data to lower dimensional for analysis or visualization. Basically it's for simplifying it. If we are having the multiple set of the data of the lower dimension that we are going to use for the analysis or the visualization purpose. It is a linear transform that represent the data in new coordinate system in which the basis vector follow node of the greatest variance in the data. It is the optimal linear transform which divide an observed space into orthogonal subspace with the largest variance. So thus the new basis vectors are calculated for the particular data set. One price to be paid for the principal component analysis flexibility is the higher computational requirement as compared to this. So if you are comparing with the fast transform, like it is giving the highest computational as compared to the fast Fourier transform. So basically हम लोग इसको यूज करते हैं in order to simplify the multi-dimensional data set that we are using for the analysis or the visualization purpose. So उस multi-dimensional data set को simplify करने के लिए यूज करते हैं. So it reduces the multi-dimensional data है. So what it will be doing? It will be reducing the dimensionality. The principal component analysis can be used for the lossy data compression while retaining those characteristics of the data set which contribute most to its variance. Like if we are having the lossy data, like some part of the data is not there also we can use the principal component analysis. So the principal component analysis transform a number of possible correlated variables to the same number of uncorrelated variables called the principal component. So what it will be doing? It transform a number of possible correlated variables into the same number of uncorrelated variable. Transform करता है correlated variables to the same number of uncorrelated variables. This we are calling it the principal component. So the first principal component for as much of the availability in the data as possible, and each succeeding component account for much of the remaining variability as possible. If the data set has to be approximated in a lower dimension, then lower order principal component are considered and higher one are omitted. Actually इस प्रिंसिपल कंपोनेंट एनालिसिस में हम लोग जो like we are going to solve the multi-dimensional data set to the lower dimension. So if we are considering approximated in the lower dimension, then the lower order principal components are considered, the higher order को हम लोग omit कर देते हैं. So if we are having a data set that comprises the n observation, each of m variable, usually like हम लोगों ने n observation consider करे हैं each of m variable or the dimension. So usually n is greater than m. The intention, like the purpose, the objective is to reduce the dimensionality of the data so that each observation can be usually represented with only one variable. हम लोग जो मल्टी डायमेंशनल डेटा सेट है उसको हम लोग रिड्यूस करते हैं. तो हमारा पर्पस क्या रहता है, इज टू रिड्यूस द डायमेंशनैलिटी ऑफ द डेटा सो दैट ईच ऑब्जर्वेशन कैन बी यूजुअली रिप्रेजेंटेड with only one variable, that L variable, and जो L की वैल्यू है that should lie between 1 and m. The data are arranged as a set of n column data vector, each representing a single observation of m variable. The nth observation is a column vector, that is x of n is equals to x1 to xm, n is equals to 1 to n. So we thus have n cross m cross n data matrix, that is x. Such matrices are often huge because n may be very large. This is in fact good since many observation implies the better statistic. So sorry for that. The process is not applied to the raw data but to normalize data. As follow, the raw observed data is arranged in a matrix and the empirical mean is calculated along each row of R to give vector u, the element of which are scalar. So हम लोग क्या करते हैं, we are applying this calculating पहले normalized data हम लोग का calculate करते हैं from the raw data, और उसके बाद हम लोग empirical mean calculate करते हैं. So the empirical mean is given by this equation. The empirical mean is subtracted from each column of R if E is a vector of size n consisting of ones only, we write. हम लोगों का पर्पस क्या रहता है कि हम लोग जो भी मल्टी डायमेंशनल डेटा है उसको हम लोग रिड्यूस करने की कोशिश करते हैं. तो कैसे करेंगे, वी आर फाइंडिंग जो नॉर्मलाइज डेटा है उसकी हेल्प से वी आर गोइंग टू फाइंड द एम्पेरिकल मीन, एंड जो एम्पेरिकल मीन है दैट इज सब्ट्रैक्टेड फ्रॉम ईच कॉलम ऑफ आर विद दिस. सो इफ वी अप्रॉक्सीमेट x in a lower dimension space of dimension m by the lower dimensional matrix y, then mean square error of the approximation is given by this. The mean approximation error is given by this. So where bi is equals to this are the base vector of the linear space of dimension, and if e square is to be minimized then the following term has to be maximized. So हम लोग यहाँ पे क्या calculate करते हैं, covariance matrix is given by this equation. Covariance matrix has a special property, it is real, symmetric, positive, semi definite. हम लोग क्या करते हैं, like एक covariance matrix calculate करते हैं. So the covariance matrix has a special property that it is real, symmetric and positive, semi definite, and so can be guaranteed to have real eigen value. Matrix theory tell us that this may be sorted. Sorted कैसे करते हैं, largest to smallest, and the associated eigen vectors taken as the basis factor that provide the maximum that we see. In the data approximation, dimension corresponds to the smallest eigenvalues are omitted. So the mean square error is given by this. यहाँ पे we have calculated use the covariance matrix. The mean square error we have calculated, और जिसमें हम लोगों ने कोवेरियंस मैट्रिक्स की वैल्यू कैलकुलेट करी थी, दैट वी आर कंसिडरिंग. So that's all is there in the today's session. In case if you are having any problem, let me know. Thank you.